We know the children are in the fright zone, but we don't know where.
I'll try to help. I see them. They've been captured by the monstroids.
I knew we'd have trouble with them again.
Yes, but the little robot people have gone to rescue the children.
Robot people? You mean the machines?
Exactly, and they'll need help. The monstroids are very powerful.
Don't worry, Peekablue. We'll cut them down to size. Let's go, sis.
Hello, my fellow Etherians. This is Mike Jenkins back with episode 12 of the She-Ra Princess of Power Comprehensive Review Series. I hope you had a wonderful holiday and New Year break. And I am back after much breaking to do episode 11, which will focus on Peekablue. Peekablue was introduced in the 1986 Wave 2 of the vintage She-Ra toy line. And according to her packaging, she's the watchful feathered friend that sees all. We first see her in the mini-comic A Fishy Business, and she also appears in the comic Don't Rain on My Parade, but she's more of a background character there. She came with her blue comb and shield, and she was also released with Crystal Moonbeam. So Crystal Moonbeam is possibly her steed, or can be considered her steed. But together, according to their packaging, they protect the Crystal Castle at night. So the big thing with Crystal Moonbeam was that he came to Etheria from Crystal World with his sister, Crystal Sundancer. And Sundancer protected the Crystal Castle during the day with Sweet Bee. And Sweet Bee came packaged with Crystal Sundancer. And at night, Peekablue and Crystal Moonbeam would take the night. They took the night shift basically, and did their rounds protecting Crystal Castle at night. So Crystal Moonbeam and Peekablue were packaged together for that reason. They were also depicted in art or one of the posters of the She-Ra magazine. Peekablue is riding Crystal Moondancer there. So it's one of the few occasions, other than Catra and She-Ra, that we see figures in the Princess of Power toy line associated with steeds. So, you have She-Ra, Catra, Bo, and then you also have Sweet Bee and Peekablue. Peekablue appears in several UK comics, as well as the She-Ra magazine, and the Ladybird book She-Ra and the Golden Goose. On the cartoon series, she is voiced by Erica Scheimer and appeared in 4 episodes plus the Christmas special. She was introduced in the Christmas special using her powers of sight to find Orko. Her first appearance in the cartoon series proper was actually in Season 1's episode 19, but there she's only in a static pose. This shows how far along her character was actually developed before being released in the toy line. Her feathers allow her to see great distances. In the episode Perils of Peekablue, she can see Adam on Eternia from her home on Etheria. She is not a fighter, and ironically fears moving to the Whispering Woods. Though the woods would protect her, she doesn't want to be involved with the conflict with the Horde. This decision turns out to be a bad one when Hordak and Shadow Weaver capture her and force her to use her sight abilities to find and capture rebel leaders.
Here is the vintage Princess of Power Peekablue action fashion doll. She was released in 1986, and she turns out to be one of the most colorful figures in the Princess of Power toy line. And that has to do with her powers of sight and her theme of her. It has to do with her peacock theme and being so colorful. The line depicts her as being proud of her feathers and strutting around and showing off her feathers, very similar to how peacocks do in nature. She comes with the backpack, which has the action feature of fanning out her feathers or closing up her feathers. The backpack is removable, and you'll often find her on eBay without the backpack and without the dress as well. She has the ball jointed head, so she can rotate her head from left to right and also tilt her head on that ball joint. She has the typical articulation. Beyond that, she can rotate her arms forwards and backwards. She has the typical leg articulation, and she just happens to be a very colorful figure. Let me go ahead and remove the backpack. I don't want to. My figure came with one of the pegs on the backpack broken off in the hole in her back, so I depend on the bottom peg to keep the backpack on, and it's one of the reasons I don't bother with her that much. I don't want to break that second peg. But the lever on her back allows the feathers to fan out and allows them to be pulled back in. And that is Miss Peekablue. Masters of the Universe Classics Peekablue was released in 2015. According to her bio, her real name is Penelope. She came with a war fan and her Great Rebellion shield. Her feathers are detachable and they are retractable as well. According to her bio, she stayed on Etheria and became romantically involved with Man-E-Faces. In both the classics and the vintage toy line, I think that Perfuma turned out to be a very beautiful figure. Her Filmation figure definitely removed a lot of the details that we saw in the vintage figure. That was for the ease of animation. The classics figure took a lot of cues, as usual, from the Filmation cartoon series and did make a point to include details on the gauntlets, the bodice, and the boots from the toys. So it was a good combining of the two designs. But the vintage figure is very colorful and has a lot of intricate design to it, which I really appreciate about this particular figure. There was some exploration of the character in the Filmation series, but Peekablue was depicted as a very passive character. Her main attribute was her ability to see in multiple directions and also see across the universe. And she was not known as being a powerful fighter. So that must have limited her use. She can be quite powerful with her seeing ability, and with her not being able to fight much, often put her on the sidelines. And that, my friends, is Peekablue. Join me next time for Perfuma, the scented moss man of the Princess of Power series. Until then, ta-ta for now.